Welcome to another allotment diary. Today we're going to be digging over, dealing with this raised bed. You can see it's not too big, but it's mostly clear weeds. I've got them all up, but unfortunately it isn't clear of stones. They keep coming back. In fact, if anything, the stones are probably worse than the weeds. So this bed's mostly empty. The only thing in it is this tree. It's a dwarf apple tree. It's a Johnson apple tree. Not likely to fruit this year. It's only just gone in, but there's strong growth on it. So fingers crossed for next year. It's going to produce some good apples. That'll be rather nice addition to the allotment. But what we're going to do today is plant some peas. We've got three varieties. There's a petit pois, a sugar snap, and a Lincoln pea, and they're going to go into this soil. Now there's a couple of ways you can plant them. You can plant them in the traditional rows. The traditional rows work very well. Another alternative is to plant them in a zigzag shape. I personally prefer the zigzag shape. I think you get slightly more productivity out of them, and it just gives the peas a little bit more space between them so that they can grow a little bit better. So let's start planting these peas and getting them in the ground. You can see here my wiggly lines. These are where the peas are going to go. They go around there, and then they give the apple tree a wide berth. I don't really want the peas climbing up the apple, obviously. That's not going to be pleasant for it. Now the bed hasn't been fertilised. I haven't dug manure in. I do have some bags of manure there, but I'm not going to dig them into this bed. It's not been grown in for a while, so it's reasonably fertile. Judging from the number of weeds that were in it, it's very, very fertile. So what we're going to do is come around over here and we'll start putting our peas in. Now spacing them about that far is far enough. It doesn't matter too much if they're a bit closer. Peas are fairly forgiving. They grow in crowded conditions anyway. The only thing you've really got to watch out for is air circulation. Sometimes they can have a problem. If the air circulation isn't good enough, it can cause a few issues. These are the petit pois version, which I have been instructed by my little girl that I have to plant, because apparently, these are the sugar snap peas. These are the ones that I've been instructed to plant, as apparently she really likes them. Whether that will be the case, we'll see when they're harvested. Nice thing about growing peas, it's a pretty quick crop to grow. They don't take too long. Got a bit of space over here, so let's just poke some in the soil. Here where it's curving out, let's just put a little small line in there. A couple more there. Just put a couple there. Really trying to sort of maximise the crop. Now you may sort of say, well, what you should do is plant these in succession, so plant a couple of rows now, a couple of rows next week, and so on. That's all well and good, I can do that, but to be perfectly honest, a reasonable amount of these aren't going to germinate, so I'll just replace those with new seeds. And if they do come up and I get a glut, all I do is I pick them all, dry some for use next year, and then the rest of them I will blanch and freeze. It's very simple to do, very quick and easy. So all we do is cover them over, go to the stones, just cover them over like that. If you suffer from pigeons in your area, pigeons do like peas, particularly baby peas, then what you might want to do is just net your peas. You will want to put supports in for your peas when they grow, but I'm not going to put those in yet. I'm going to wait until the peas are starting to come up, and then I will put the supports in. You can use pea sticks, you can use nets, whatever you really want to. So that's one row done. I'll get the rest of the rows planted, and then they just need watering in, so give them a good soaking, and once they're soaked they will hopefully grow. And just come down and water it every couple of days, keep an eye on it and make sure they're okay. Now once the pea shoots start to appear, I'll put some pea sticks in, and then that will give them the support they want. Now you can grow them in straight rows and use a net for them to climb up, that works as well. It's entirely up to you which you use, it's your personal preference. So I'm going to finish planting these rows and water them in, and that shouldn't hopefully take too long. Now, that's the bed finished. Now, the trees on the left hand side as we're looking at it, there's 3 half rows there of main crop peas. Now those need to be picked fairly early on because they can get quite large and tough. Then there's 2 rows of petit pois and 2 and a bit rows of sugar snap peas. Now peas are fairly quick to finish, so I may well plant more of these elsewhere once I've cleared some space. We'll see what we've got time to do, but you can freeze them and they'll last for months. I've only just finished using last year's peas. All you do is you shell them all, which is a task and a half, best done in front of the TV or with a bottle of wine. Once you've shelled them, just blanch them in boiling water for about 30 seconds, then immediately remove them using a slotted spoon and put them in a bath of icy cold water to stop the cooking process. And then you can either put them onto trays so that they freeze individually, or you can just put them into portion-sized bags. I just put them in portion-sized bags and stick them in the freezer because I'm not fussed if they're in a big lump in the freezer, because I take them out and put them in the pan to cook them anyway, so it makes no difference. Now, peas are dried seeds, and they can be difficult for some people to germinate. These, probably about 60-70% of these will germinate. Any that don't, I just poke some seeds in any holes. It's very simple. But you can increase your chances of germination by soaking the seeds overnight. So you put your pea seeds in a bowl of water overnight, and it loosens the skin and sort of gets them all ready to grow, and they'll grow quite quickly after that. Now, I tend to give them a really good watering. Each row has had half a watering can, and that's the watering can there amongst my pile of rubbish. So it's a reasonable sized watering can, so about half of that per row, and each row is no more than about 3 feet long. So it's quite a lot of water, and the idea is that the water soaks down to the pea itself and wets it, and it then germinates. So they're being thoroughly watered, which increases the chances of germination. But like I said, you can soak them overnight if you like. Some people prefer to do that, and it's a perfectly good way of getting your pea seeds going. So let's leave these in peace and quiet now. Give it a week or so, and we should start seeing some shoots popping up from the ground, and then I can start putting some pea sticks in rather than net them. I personally don't like using the netting because you know, what do you do with the netting after you finish with it? It gets thrown away, and I don't like them climbing up netting. You can use string or something like that, but I just tend to get some sticks, stick them in the ground, and the peas grow up them just fine. They don't have any problems with it at all. I had bumper crops from it every year, so that works well for me. I don't need to net these peas, fortunately. Like I said, we don't really suffer with pigeons that badly here, and I can certainly put up some stuff to scare them away if I do feel the pigeons are causing a problem. If I come down and I find some of the seeds sort of pulled up above the ground, then I know that is pigeons, and then I can certainly net them off and do something about it. And even after digging over how many times, there's another stone, big stone. So it's a non-stop battle with stones, let alone weeds here. So that's planting peas, and now I'm going for a bit of a relax, digging some weeds out at the other end of the allotment.